Hey folks, so today I'm going to be doing five different videos that are going to be very small tutorials about research basics. Rather than lecture about the different ways that we can research or the different ways that we can brainstorm, some may be familiar to you, some may be new to you. I thought it would be far more useful for you if I actually demoed those things live. How can we utilize the things that we've talked about in the readings and we've seen in videos? How can we actually leverage that information in real time? So this is the first video where we are going to be talking about APA 7. APA 7 is going to be the citation format that we are going to be utilizing for this class. If you have never used APA 7 before, that's okay. It's all a learning experience, but there are resources available to you online. You can also pick up a copy of the APA 7 manual if that is something that you are going to be citing in for your other classes. It might be useful just to have it on hand. You also might be able to get some resources from the library. So there's a lot of ways for you to have access to it. But for today, what I wanted to do is how do we begin to format an APA 7 cover page? There are a lot of templates out there, and templates are useful, but sometimes they get it wrong. So the way that I'm going to instruct you how to do an APA 7 cover page is how the APA 7 manual recommends to do it. And I'm going to be showing you how to do it in Google Docs. You can do it similarly in Word. But since we use Google Docs for everything in this class, I'm going to show you in Google Docs. So I have just kind of a working document here that I've called Research Basics with a couple of different tabs that we're going to be kind of going over for each of the different videos. So I'm going to go to my document tabs that says APA 7 cover page. And as you can see, it's blank. I haven't done anything to it yet. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and put my page into double space because everything that you will do will be in double spacing. So if you come over here to this little link, this is the alignment and indent, and this is the line spacing. You click on that and you want to select double. I have already done that. If your document has said to remove space before or remove space after paragraph, you want to go ahead and remove that. You don't want any additional spacing between your double spacing because then it's just going to mess up your formatting. So always make sure that you don't have space before or space after your paragraph because it's going to mess up the formatting and it's going to make it look like you have like twice as much spacing as you need. So double spacing, no space before or after your paragraph. Cool. Now, in terms of font, APA 7 specifically says that if you use a serif font, it has to be in 12. So think Times New Roman or Garamond, anything that is meant to mimic a typewriter is a serif font. And those would be in 0.12. But if you use a sans serif font, meaning like Arial or Roboto, anything that is meant to mimic handwriting is an 11-point font, just because if you try to do 12 in Arial, it's going to be slightly bigger. And if you try to do 11 in Times New Roman, it's very difficult to read. So I'm going to stick with Arial 11. Again, I don't care which fonts you use specifically, as long as it's consistent sizing. So, and you're consistent throughout. But I think the more common ones that you'll see Arial, Calibri, Times New Roman. Those are going to be the more common fonts that you will use in APA 7. If you choose to use something different and you're not sure if it works for the assignment, just ask me and I'll let you know if I recommend it or not. But for the sake of this exercise, I'm going to stick with Arial and size 11. So first thing on your APA 7 cover page is before you write anything, you want to go ahead and create the space, like create the title. So to start, I'm at the very top of my page, right? See, the cursor's not going anywhere. And I'm going to hit the enter or return key 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's step 1. Next, I'm going to come up here to my toolbar where it says align and indent, and I'm going to center it on my page. And your title in APA 7 is always bolded. So I'm going to click bold right here, and I'm going to just create a working title or the assignment that I'm working on. It can be anything that you want it to be, but by the time you are submitting a final, it should be, your title should be very similar to or very much in line with what your research question is. It doesn't have to necessarily be a question, but it should tell us a little bit something about what we expect to read. But for now, I'm just going to do working title and do research basics, because that's what we're working on, right? Now that I have a working title, I'm going to hit my enter and return key 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This is where we get to put our information, our name, and our university affiliation. So I'm going to unbold everything, still centered on the page. The first thing you're going to write is your name. So I'm going to write my name here, just like that. You do not have to use a middle initial. It is optional, but a lot of people will use a middle initial because if you have the same first and last name as somebody in publishing, then your middle initial is usually what distinguishes between your 2 different forms of scholarship. So for this class, it's optional, but just know that if you see middle initials, that's why they happen. Now I'm going to hit enter on a new line. And now this is where you would put your university affiliation. So which university are you publishing and or writing on behalf of? In our case, it's University of California, Santa Cruz. If you hit enter or return, the next line would be the department that you are working in. So if you are publishing on behalf of the physics department or the English department, since you're not writing for a department, you're writing for this class, for the sake of our assignments, you can just simply write writing 2. Perfectly fine. If you want to include your section number, you can do that as well. And enter again. The next line that you were going to do is the date. Now, when you do the date, you want to do the full month, the day. So we're going to do 8. And you see how Google is trying to like pre-populate the date here. I'm going to show you why you don't want to do that. And then you're going to do 2026. So you want to spell out the month, a 2-digit date. So if it's April 10th, you write 10, and then the full year that you were writing it in. Now, the reason why you don't want to do the pre-populated date here is, let's just say I did that. See how it abbreviated the month? It may not seem that big of a deal, and it really isn't, but then it's not APA 7 formatting. So you want to make sure that you just spell it out and don't take the Google suggestion. Otherwise, it's going to mess up the formatting. If we were looking at the entire page and kind of what it looks like, that's where your title information and your name information should be. And I know it seems weird because it's not perfectly centered, but the reason why is sometimes people would put keywords or even like an acknowledgement section here on the bottom of the page. You don't have to do that. But in terms of creating a cover page with your title and your name, that's the place where you need to start. Now, before we are done with our title page here, we want to include page numbers. So if you come up here and just click at the very top of your page, you're going to open up a header and you're going to click on options here and you're going to click header format. APA 7 requires 1-inch margins, just like MLA 9. They require 1-inch margins all the way around. If you see here, it defaults to 1/2 inch. So what you're going to do is you're going to change this to 1 and this to 1, and then click apply. And it just bumps it down that extra 1/2 inch for you. And then you want to change your align and indent to your right-hand margin. And you want to click insert. Come down here to page elements, page numbers, and you want to click the top right corner right here. And if you see here, if I highlight this, this is also an Arial 11, so I'm good. If I were writing in Times New Roman 12 and I inserted a page number, the default is Arial 11. So if I did this in Times New Roman, I would also have to change the font to make sure that this is Times New Roman 12. But since I'm doing 11 Arial and this is 11 Arial, we're good. So at the end of it, this is what our cover page should look like. And again, if you wanted to put in acknowledgements or keywords, that's what this space is for, but we're not doing that. We're just creating the basic cover page here. So that is how to create an APA 7 cover page. We are going to be talking about brainstorming next, so stay tuned for the next video.